Hello everybody, my name is Liz Castano. I will be showing you today a lesson about ordinal numbers. I planned this lesson for my first and second grade self-contained class, and right now I'm here in my classroom, so I hope you enjoy it. The objectives of this lesson is to use ordinal numbers to describe the position of things and to recognize ordinal numbers in both numeral and word form. So we're going to begin this lesson with a warm-up activity where the students are going to have a dry erase board, a marker, and an eraser. And it's a dictation of numbers. So you can say to the students that they can split their board in two parts. And I'm going to say that in the first part, they need to write the number 9 in the numeral form. In the second part of the board, I'm going to say they need to write the number 5. And then I'm going to say circle the greater number. And hopefully they will do this. With this type of activity, they can turn and talk and check with the partner if they got the same answer. If they get the same answer, that means they can give themselves a check. I mean, if it's right. And then we can move on to a different set of numbers. So this time I'm going to say you can circle you can write number 7. And on the other side, you can have number 2. And I can say again, circle the greater number or the least number. In this case, I'm going to say the least, so the number will be 2. Again, they can turn and talk and check with the partner if they have the right answer. They can say why, talk about it, and then if it's right, they can give themselves a check or they can self-correct. In this warm-up activity, I can also say addition or subtraction sentences, very basic. I can say 2 plus 3 equal. And at this point, I'm not worrying about they solving the equation. I worry about them knowing the order of the numbers, following directions, having the plus sign and the equal sign. That's what I'm looking for. Modification that you can have to this part of the lesson is to give students that struggle with this type of concepts a board with a number line. In this case, they will be able to see whether a number is greater than or less than the other number. It's a great visual for them, and I find that it's very, very helpful. So I invite you to use this. After we do the warm-up activity, I like to start my lessons with an opening question, just to start up discussion and get the kids ready for the lesson. So today my question is, what do you know about ordinal numbers? I'm trying to show here in the screen, and I hope you can see it. What do you know about ordinal numbers? The idea is to say the question, to also show it to them so they get the visual, and then they can turn and talk with their partner about what they know about ordinal numbers. If you see that the students are struggling with ordinal numbers, you can then change that question to what do you know about numbers, which is going to give them more and more options and things to say, because at this point they should know many things about numbers. So after that discussion, I'm going to say that today we're going to learn about ordinal numbers. I will say that these numbers are numbers that we use to describe the position of things, and that they look slightly different to the numbers, the regular numbers that we see. And for that, I'm going to call teacher's best friend a pocket chart. And for this part of the lesson, I would like to do the method I do, we do, you do. I do, we do, you do. It's a great way to engage children. You get to model what you want the kids to know, and they also get to practice it. It's a great teaching strategy. So I have it here. It's pretty much ready. I'm just going to start by turning each card, and then I will say first, and then I will say now we do it, and everybody will say first. And then I turn the second card, I say second, then we do it, and everybody will read the card, and so on. So I go third, fourth, fifth, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. After I do this, I can do it again. Now that I flip them all over, I can say first, and then we all say it first. Then I can call in some students to do it to do them individually, or I can just wait at the end and call each of them to say first, second, third, and they don't have to be in order. They can just be in random order. So I can say first, eighth, fourth, third, sixth, ninth. I can just point at different numbers so that they get an opportunity to read all of them. The second part of this lesson, or at least of this part, will be to show the word form of this. And for this part of the lesson, I suggest that we also use the method I do, we do, you do. So I'm going to start flipping the cards, and the first thing I have is first. And also notice how my cards have different colors. So for the numerals, I use white with blue marker, and for the word form, I use yellow with black marker, which shows the difference. It helps them. So I can go first, then we say it first, then second, I say second, then we say it second, then third, we say it third, and so on until we get to tens. Seventh, very good, and eighth, ninth, and 10th. In this part, I can also do the same. I can call each student and just point at different cards, and they can read them, or I can invite a student to come and be the teacher, so he or she gets to point at the cards, and he or she gets to pick what student will read the card for the class. So this is that part of the lesson. Then to just spice it up and make it more interesting for them, it's like a little challenge. You can say, okay, so now I'm gonna move them around, and you change the orders of the white cards, of the white cards. And their job will be to rearrange them and match the numeral form to the word form. So in this part of the activity, you can just call one student, and he or she can do one or two cards so that you get a few students to come and do this part of the activity. So ideally, they will just match them like this. Second goes with second. First, I need to look for first. And they don't have to do them in order. Like at this point, what I'm really looking for is just for them to see if they can match that word form to the numeral form. And I don't expect them to necessarily do it in order, but just for them to find the word and find the number. I love this activity. And then I can move this on the side. At this part, I'd love to say that they can kiss their brains because they did fantastic work. And then the final part of this lesson will be to do an activity that doesn't really have a name, but you can name it. And it consists of making a line. So the students all stand up, they line up. If you have paraprofessionals in the classroom, they can always line up. They can also line up with the students. And then you're going to call two students to participate. So the two students, this is their job. So one of the students will have the cards. And the cards they have questions like, who is fifth in line? Who is fifth in line? And the other student will look at the line and will tell the name of the person that is in fifth position in line. Another question could be, in which position is Miss Key? Or who is first in line? Who is last in line? So the other student will get the opportunity to answer, and then they will take turns doing that. If you haven't teach at this point left and right, you can always have the first person in the line hold the start sign so they know where the line starts, who's first, who's on the right side. And that will be it. At the end of this activity, then it will be the end of the lesson. I always like to have students talk about what they like about the lesson, and they always give me feedback. Sometimes they write it down, sometimes we talk about it. They say what part they like. They say Sometimes whenever it's possible, they said, how can we make this activity a better activity for us? And then that would be the end of the lesson. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope you get to try it at some point. And thank you so much. Bye bye.